Take two. What if Deku was a warlock? Now, for this, I have to explain something real quick. My Hero Academia, also known as Boku no Hero Academia, is all owned by Koa Horikoshi. Please support the official release. Destiny, the video game, is owned by Bungie. Please support the official release. Now, before I get into the story, I need to explain all Izuku's powers and his personality. First off, Izuku is going to be the opposite in canon. He will not be an easy pushover. If you push him, he will push right back. And now for his powers. Most of these will consist in grenades. First, we start with the Oxium bolt grenades. With this ability, a bolt of void light which focuses into a smaller bolts of impact which seeks towards enemies. Energy drain. When Izuku attacks an opponent with a melee weapon with his own hands, he can drain their energy and uses it to his own advantage to refuel on his grenades. Glide. When Izuku thinks of light thoughts while jumping, he can glide a great distance away even while using his weapons. Nova Bombs. With this ability, Izuku can hurl an explosive bolt of void light at his opponent, disintegrating or exhausting them, whoever gets caught in the blast radius. Scatter Grenades. A grenade that splits into many subminions and covers a large area with explosives. Vortex Grenades. With this ability, a grenade that creates a vortex which continuously damages enemies who are trapped inside. Here's a different subclass called Sun Singer. Firebolt Grenade. A grenade that unleashes a bolt of solar light at nearby enemies. Fusion Grenades. An explosive grenade that causes bonus damage when attached to its targets. Radiance. This ability fills Izuku with solar light, dramatically increasing the effectiveness of all Izuku's abilities. Scorch. This power melee attack that ignites enemies causes fire damage over time. Solar Grenade. This grenade creates a flare of solar light, which constantly damages enemies that are trapped inside. Sorry about the stuttering. You're probably going to hear it a lot. Now, with that all breaking down, this is what if Deku, was a warlock. Izuku Midoriya was born quirkless, and like in canon, he was bullied and shamed for it, but he never let that keep him down. When someone would push him down, he would always get back up and push back harder. One day, at the playground, Izuku intervened between Bakugo and another quirkless kid. Izuku says, "Stop it, Bakugo. You're hurting him. If you don't stop, I'll stop you myself." Bakugo smirks and says, "What's a quirkless nobody like you gonna do about it?" Izuku then tells the boy to run. "I'll take care of this." The boy then runs. One of Bakugo's lackeys try to chase after the boy, but Izuku stops them before they can do so. After a few minutes, Izuku is putting up a good fight. He manages to knock out the two lackeys, leaving him and Bakugo the only ones standing. Izuku is tired, and so is Bakugo. Izuku's clothes are scorched and burned from Bakugo's small explosions. Bakugo is charging at Izuku. Izuku is ready to go, but an adult breaks up the fight. The adult tells the boys to go their separate ways. When Izuku is leaving, when he comes across the boy that he was defending, the boy he was defending then says to Izuku, "Thanks for helping me." Izuku says, "No problem. It's what heroes do." They both shook hands, and Izuku said, "Be safe out there," while he headed home. Now, before I get even further into the story, Let's head back 700. Let's head forward. I'm sorry. Let's head forward 700 years into the future. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, only for the traveler to stop this tragedy from happening by creating little robots named ghosts to start a new beginning for humanity. For a couple of years, it works, but for a certain extraterrestrial group called the Vex didn't like what was going on and wanted to put a stop to it. This group called the Vex can manipulate time and space, so they strategize a plan that could bring an end to this ghosts. They build a weapon that could eradicate a person's ghost, but it does something unexpected. While a ghost was out looking for its guardian, they managed to catch this unpossessed ghost. Here's the ghost, by the way, and try out their new weapon on it. When they took the shot on the ghost then beamed away. They thought it worked, but something happened to the ghost that made them think otherwise. They thought that the weapon was defective and abandoned their mission on trying to bring an end to the ghost line. But little did they know, they sent a ghost back in time, 700 years into the future, a time when humanity was still standing strong, the same time as Izuku Midoriya. Okay. One day, during middle school, the teacher wanted the class to fill out papers and what they wanted to do after middle school. Who am I kidding? I know you all want to be heroes. The class grows excited and starts to use their quirks. The teacher tells the class to calm down, no quirk usage in class. Bakugo then says, "Hey Teach, don't bother putting me in with these bunch of losers. For all I know, they'll be lucky enough to be sidekick to some busted D-lister." The class rages at Bakugo. The teacher points out that Bakugo and Izuku want to go to UA, one of the hardest schools to get into. The class grows silent and then start to laugh at Izuku wanting to go to a school of people with quirks, only for him to not have one. Izuku stands up tall and says, "You all can laugh all you want, but I'm going to make a change to this world and show the world that you don't need a quirk to be a hero. I may not become the next symbol of peace, but I could become the first to fight for what I believe in. One day, your quirks might not work someday during a situation. Then what will you do? You'll be the ones who need saving." The class grows quiet, and the teacher goes back to what he was doing. After class, Izuku is approached by Bakugo, and then he takes Izuku's book. He takes Izuku's book on heroes. "What are you gonna do with this? It's not like it'll be any use to you." Izuku then looks at Bakugo with a blank look, not caring. He then snatches his book back and puts it in his book bag and walks away. Bakugo says, "Hey, I'm not done talking to you, you damn nerd." Izuku continues to walk. Bakugo follows him and says, "You better not think about showing up if you know what's good for you." Izuku keeps silent to himself and continues to walk. "You're not saying anything." Sorry, not yet. Anyway, Izuku is continuously walking, not saying anything. Bakugo then says, "You hear me, you damn nerd?" Izuku, still walking, not saying anything. Bakugo then says, "Not talking, huh? Well, how about you get a taste of this?" Bakugo throws an explosion at Izuku. Izuku dodges. Izuku then grabs Bakugo with the hand that he used to throw an explosion at him and throws him over his shoulder. Bakugo, lying on the ground, flat on his back. Izuku then says, "I don't need a quirk. All I need is the determination and self-belief. And these." Izuku then shows Bakugo his fists. Bakugo's lackeys are about to try to attack Izuku, only to be stopped by Izuku's serious face. They know that he means business. He then walks away. Bakugo is pissed, but he doesn't bother Izuku. Izuku is heading home. He uses a shortcut through a tunnel. He is halfway through the tunnel when Izuku hears a rumbling noise, when all of a sudden a sludge substance oozes from the sewer. Izuku is disgusted and continues to walk when all of a sudden the ooze grabs Izuku by the leg. Izuku looks back and says, It's alive? The ooze then grabs him by the arms. The ooze then forms a face looking at Izuku with his eyes. Izuku is freaking out, looking back at this sludge monster that has him. The sludge villain then says, with a very deep tone in his voice, "Don't be scared. You won't have anything to worry about after I'm done with you." The ooze gets closer and closer to Izuku's face. We fade to black. All Might, the number one hero, pops out from the same sewer, but he's too late. The sludge villain and Izuku are long gone. A few hours later, it's dark, and Izuku's body is walking through the woods with blank eyes. The sludge villain then says, "Well, this is my stop." The sludge villain then slowly oozes out of Izuku's mouth. He then says, "Thanks for the ride, kid, but I gotta go wreak havoc elsewhere. Bye-bye." The sludge villain then slithers away. Izuku on the ground. His lips are blue. His eyes are a faded color. His heart is stopped. He is dead from lack of oxygen. A few moments go by. A flash of light then appears from space. A ghost then emerges from it. The ghost then looks around, wondering where he is, but he just thinks that the Vex done teleported him somewhere leafy. He then looks around looking for his guardian when he comes across a dead Izuku. The ghost then says, "There you are." The ghost then opens up its circuits with 8 little triangles floating around a small ball of some sorts floating in the center. The ghost then emits a light that brings Izuku back to life. Izuku begins to breathe again after giving out a couple of coughs and gags. He then rises up to his feet while the ghost is saying, "Guardian, rise up, Guardian. It worked. You're alive. Take it easy, Guardian. You've been dead for a while now. I brought you back." Izuku is in so much confusion, saying, "Where am I? Who are you?" as he stares at the floating small robot. The ghost then says, "I'm a ghost. Well, now I'm your ghost. And like I said before, you've been dead for a couple of hours. You're gonna see a lot of things that you will not understand." Izuku looks at the ghost and says, I died? But how?" The ghost then says, "Well, your last memory is a bit hazy, but it looks like you died of suffocation by a ooze of some sort." Izuku is in so much disbelief and has so many questions. The ghost says, "I know you have so many questions, Guardian, but right now we need to get somewhere safe. Do you have any idea?" The only place that Izuku could think of is at home with his mother. The ghost then says, "Okay, sounds good. I'll explain it all when we get there." The ghost then disappears into Izuku's body. Izuku is wondering, where did the ghost go? The ghost then said to Izuku, "It's okay. I'm still here. Let's move." After a few hours pass, it's early in the morning, and Izuku is back at home at his front door. He then knocks on the door. Inko, his mother, instantly opens the door to her son, and she begins to cry in concern for her child's safety. She then asks, where have you been? I've called the school and everyone I can think of, but no one knew where you were." Izuku then says, "I'm sorry, Mom," with tears falling down his face. "Something happened today, and I'll tell you all about it in the morning, I promise." Izuku then hugs his mother, promising her that everything's okay, and then walks to his room. And the ghost appears from Izuku's body and says, well, Izuku says, "Alright, we're here. Explain, ghost." The ghost then says, "Before I do, I need you to choose a class." Izuku is confused. A class? Like school? The ghost then says, "Not exactly." The ghost then brings up a hologram of all three classes that a guardian chooses. He then asks, "So, which one will you choose?" Izuku is amazed by what he is seeing, that this robot is emitting all of this light and showing him this. He then asks, "What's this one with the hexagon with the X in the center?" The ghost then explains to Izuku. The ghost then explains, telling Izuku that this one is called Titan. With this class, you are armed engine of war. Control any battle with strength and strategy. With this class, you'll be able to smash the ground and dissolve your enemies in Mesostorm of Arc Light. And if you train hard enough, you'll get Defender. This allows you to shape Void Light into an indestructible shield to protect you and your allies. Izuku is intrigued by what he is hearing. He then says, "What about that one? The one with the three cut-off triangles that are stacked on top of each other?" The ghost then goes about explaining, "This symbol is called Hunter. With this class, you are a master of frontier. You can stalk or kill your enemies with ruthless prejudice. The abilities for this is called Gunslinger. You can summon a flame pistol which disintegrates enemies with a solar light. If you train hard enough, you can achieve Blade Dancer. With this, you can change your blade with arc light and consume your foes with light." Izuku is even more interested than he was before. He then points out and says, "What about this one? The one with the three mountains fused together." He's referring to this one, the yellow one right there. The ghost then goes about to explain the last one. "This one is called Warlock. With this class, the universe bends to your will. You can manipulate the energy to annihilate. I'm sorry for that long pause. With this, you can annihilate your foes. This class comes with a special ability called Voidwalker. You can hurl an explosive bolt of void light at your enemies and disintegrate those who are caught within the blast. If you train hard enough, you can obtain Sun Singer. With this ability, you can fill yourself with solar light, dramatically increases your effectiveness of your abilities. So, Guardian, which one will you choose?" Izuku thinks about it for a moment and asks, "Does it have to be all about killing? Like, can't I just stun my enemies?" The ghost then says, "Oh, of course." Izuku thinks about it, looks at all three symbols. After a few minutes, Izuku chooses the Warlock. The ghost then says, "Very well, Guardian." The ghost then disappears, and so does Izuku. For a few seconds, he then reappears while Izuku is wearing this, a new outfit that he's going to consider his hero costume. Izuku goes to the bathroom, looks at himself in the mirror, and he can't believe how good he looks. He then raises his hand, looking at his gauntlets, makes a fist, and then opens it again. His wolf then is floating above his hand. The ghost then says, "Well, Do you like it? Anime outlet. Go subscribe to him. He's awesome. Izuku then responds with, "Hell yeah." Okay, and so that's where I'm gonna end it. This one actually, this take actually turned out pretty good. No interruption this time. So like, yeah, like if you guys want me to give the ghost a name of some sorts, please just comment it down below. If you would like to, get more of this, please like, and all that other stuff. I ain't gotta say nothing else, but hey, I hope you guys have a nice day and consider yourselves #blessed. Goodbye.